Downtown Salt Lake City, a shot of the state capitol, ready for a top 25 matchup in Pac-12 women's hoops. Number 20 Utah hosting number 6 USC, coming in with just one loss on the season, and that was to UCLA. As we take a look at the starting lineup for the USC Trojans, Juju Watkins, we've talked about this talented freshman guard to go with Mackenzie Forbes. Rhea Marshall is back. They're happy to have her. She was out ill the last meeting against UCLA. And then Taylor Bigby, as well as Kayla Padilla, rounding off the starters for USC, averaging 77 points per game this week. And then for Utah, the number 20 team in the nation, Alyssa Peely, the talented senior, goes with Kennedy McQueen in a guard spot. Deja Young, as well as Inesh Vieta, getting another start tonight, her 15th on the season. And then Jenna Johnson, high and low post for her. And this Utah Utes team, 12-5 overall. Lynn Roberts, head coach of the Utah Utes in her 9th season as the head coach for the Utes, and getting her team to the Sweet 16 last year and hoping to go even further with this group. They've had a little adversity as they've gone along, but they are absolutely having high expectations for USC. Lindsay Gottlieb in her 3rd season as the head coach with the Trojans. Her team making their way to the NCAA tournament last year, finishing 4th this year. A 3-1 start in conference play, 13-1 overall. Lots of positives and a lot of talent out on the floor. USC leads this series 18-9. But last year here in Salt Lake City, the one meeting, it was Utah getting the victory. Tip is up, and USC with possession. You'll see Deja Young. She's got the first chance at Juju Watkins as far as defense goes. Utah will try to mix it up on her as USC trying to work that high, low, and just off the fingertips of Rhea Marshall.
Well, you said it. Look for them to mix up who they put on Juju Watkins defensively, but also look for them to mix up whether they double her, whether they trap off of screens too.
Turnovers have been problems here and there, really, for both of these teams. I'd say in games where they've maybe had struggles, they've had high turns, and these are teams that know how to force the turnovers, though, too. Between the legs, behind the back, just short off the iron for Juju Watkins.
Well, and I think there's 2 types of turnovers. You've got your dead ball turnover and your live ball turnover. The turnover that just happened with Rhea Marshall, that one doesn't hurt USC as much because Utah couldn't turn and get a layup in the other end. But it's those live ball turnovers that lead to kind of pick twos, if you will. Those are the ones that are dangerous.
Yeah, great point. Queen gives it up to Johnson. This is a USC team coming in off the win against number 2 UCLA. They forced 22 turnovers, got 23 points off of them as Peely, an aggressive drive, gets the foul to go her way.
That was just a crafty move by Peely. Peely knows that Rhea Marshall is a shot blocker. She gives her just a little head nod at the 3-point line, able to take it to the rack. But you get to see also the strength of Alyssa Peely. She almost converted that layup.
Peely, the senior from Anchorage, Alaska, transferred from USC back in 2023 season. While at USC, though, she was the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year and then hit with some injuries after that and decided to transfer and make a change, and it's been a big plus for the Utes.
It almost seems like a completely different season, a completely different team ago. It was different coaching staff, everything. So, you know, new start, totally different teams, and she's found a nice spot here at Utah.
Yeah, certainly so. A switch off of Watkins. She gives it up to Padilla. She's had a hot hand as of late and gets the 3-ball to go.
I love what Kayla Padilla brings to this SoCal team. She has the ability to knock down that spot up 3-pointer, and that is so important when you're playing with someone like Juju Watkins.
They call a kick. It'll stay with the Utes.
With the way that they double and triple Juju, it's really important to have shooters. And as you can see, Kayla Padilla knocking it down, getting your feet set, and just hitting that open 3.
We've got the top 2 3-point shooting teams in the Pac-12. Utah leads the way in the conference, and not far behind is USC. Utah averages 12 threes a game. USC 8 threes per game. And there's a takeaway by the Utah defense. Strip from Forbes.
And she just got a little tangled up in her own feet going through the paint on the play.
Inside to Peely, off the glass is good. The patience by Alyssa Peely.
The patience and such great hands. Just plucks it out of the air, takes her time, doesn't get rattled, lets two Trojans fly by, and then just makes the easy two.
1 point Utah lead. Padilla, a new addition to this USC team, the transfer from Penn this past year. Vieta, nobody stops the ball.
Vieta picking up where she left off on Sunday, just taking it coast to coast. I love how she pushes it. If you're not going to stop ball, she's just going to take it all the way to the hole.
Solid game for Vieta. Yeah, Utah, a bounce back after a close 2-point loss to number 8 Stanford last weekend, win against Cal. And Vieta with 19 points in that one, but a pretty soft stroke. That's Watkins, her first points of the game.
And that was really good defense by Deja Young. It was just an even better move by Juju Watkins, and that elevation and able to hit that jumper with someone in her face is...
Now the steal by Watkins. They list her at 6'2", you're right, a bit more length as an aggressive drive, just lost it. Vieta again. This time the defense getting back. Transition D is so crucial. And that ball just swatted out of play, but off of Jenna Johnson. It's going to go the other way.
I feel like with all the talk about Juju Watkins, we don't get enough time to talk about Rhea Marshall's shot blocking ability, and she just erases that defensive mistake. But here we get to see Vieta, no one picking up ball, and she's so quick in transition, just recognizes her opportunity.
Yeah, she certainly is. Checking in some fresh legs for USC. This is Roxanne McCullough. McCullough, another transfer. 4 transfers to this USC team, but I love what Lindsay Gottlieb has done. She's really brought in grad students that can bring experience to go with this talented young recruit class as well. Big beat, long rebound into the hands of Forbes. A couple of chances, aggressive on the boards, but USC not able to get it. Utah coming down with it. Coach Gottlieb told us, she said, you know, she likes the balance. She's got maturity, she has youth. As that one just grazes, there's Vieta, hustle play. Out of the round, it stays with the Utes. Put both teams on their toes, active, and you see both coaches up clapping and talking. And a lot of newcomers, the freshmen, Juju Watkins, Maria Samuels, but then you have the transfers as well. KD, Kenzie Forbes, and then Nicolo and Padilla. Nice additions to complement the freshmen.
Yeah, I love how they all kind of have a unique role, and they bring something different and special to this USC Trojans team.
Between the high hedge from Wapo, who's come in. Reese, the freshman for Utah, coming in, and Utah not able to make him pay, though. The second chance, and she's going to get called with a foul. Hanging around just a little too long.
I think if I'm the USC coaching staff, I have a love-hate relationship with these defensive possessions. They're doing a fantastic job of getting up in the face of the offense, pressuring the ball, but they're just not solidifying the stop with a defensive rebound. They're giving up way too many second chances.
Malia Samuels comes in as well. She'll run some of the points for USC. Here's Samuels. Forbes trying to work her way a little closer, muscles her way in, just short. Wapo on the O boards, another chance for USC, and Wilkie reaches in for the jump ball. It's going to go to Utah.
I think it's safe to say both of these teams really understand what's at stake with this game. Everyone just scrapping, battling for this ball on both ends of the floor. They both have really come to play tonight.
We knew it would be competitive. I mean, they were both coming off of really kind of fairly controlled and dominant wins last weekend in their second game. Jenna Johnson trying to get some space. But USC looks sharp defensively, really. And quick substitutions important when you come to the mountains. Got enough passing for Utah to get the three ball for Jenna Johnson.
Well, and that's something unique that Jenna Johnson brings as a forward for Utah. She's not just a low post presence. She can play defense as a 5, but she can step out and hit that 3. And if you're hands down as a post defender, she's going to make you pay.
And an offensive foul called against USC. Jenna Johnson stopped a scoring drought for the Utes. The double team over. Johnson with the 3-ball. Utah up by 4. The Pac-12 representing so well in the top 25. Number 20, Utah. One of 5 teams in the conference. Stanford in the number 8 spot this weekend. This USC team at number 6. And then your alma mater, UCLA, number 5. They're in the middle of a tough one at Boulder right now, just out of halftime. And Colorado, the number 3 team in the nation. Oregon State also receiving some votes coming into this week. And as far as the net numbers go, 9 teams in the top 45. I mean, really doing a nice job with their scheduling and what they're doing out there.
Well, I got to say, it was the pictures for me on that little montage. They all look like they're having so much fun, but it just shows how strong the conference is. You've got all, the teams in the top 25, and it keeps their net high when they're, they may be beating each other, but they're not beating each other by a lot, and they're beating the other teams.
Nice addition for the Utah Utes this offseason. Maddie Wilkie, the transfer from Wisconsin, hits the bucket. She's really starting to come into her game as the baseline jumper. They'll wave off the shot.
I love how Maddie Wilkie just comes in, and she seems like she's been here forever. Like, she fits in exactly how Lynn Roberts likes to play, does a great job of reading the defense, takes her opportunity, steps back, and hits the 3.
Wilkie paired up with Watkins. Looking for the screen, steps up, high arcer around and out. She's got a beautiful high arc to her shot. She really gives it a chance. Does Watkins, averaging 26 points per game. That is second in the nation, only behind Caitlin Clark at Iowa. Johnson up and under, but the defense right there with her from Marshall. We talked about her length and her shot blocking abilities. She makes shooters change what they're doing out there.
She does, and she really erases a lot of mistakes that her teammates may make defensively. If they get beat on the perimeter, she's there to kind of help them out as that last line of defense.
Working it inside to Caitlin Davis, who's checked in. Transfer from Columbia. Wilkie, no hesitation, around and out. But crashing the O boards. Utah, another chance. Vieta, they'll say all ball. And Lynn Roberts and his crowd livid. And it leads to a layup for USC.
And that's where USC is dangerous. You can't get too caught up in what's going on. You've got to stop ball. Juju Watkins just deadly in transition, pushing it. Just getting those hands on the basketball and then not wasting any time, getting to the other end, using her body and that size and strength that Juju Watkins has to finish in transition.
USC's D forcing another turnover. That last bucket stopping a 6-0 Utah run, and they needed it. They had been on a major scoring drought for over 4 minutes.
And those are those live ball turnovers that we talked about. You don't want to keep the ball in play. You want to, if you're going to turn it over, throw it out of bounds. Don't give the defense a chance to create some offense.
Yep, certainly so. Davis steps up off the back of the iron. Grad student from Norwalk, Connecticut. High to low, Johnson hesitation. And Davis knocks it out of play. But a foul call as well.
Johnson just so crafty down in the post, seals her defender. That little pump fake, showing the basketball so important. Gets Caitlin Davis up in the air, drawing the foul, getting to the free throw line.
Utah knew coming into this, they want to take advantage. You're at altitude here. You want to take advantage of these first minutes. Get out and push this tempo as best you can. I think USC's done a nice job in keeping up with it. I also think Lindsay Gottlieb's on her bench pretty quickly.
She has. There's a steady stream of subs coming in and out. Not so much that it disrupts anyone's flow, but enough to where people can get a breather on the bench. But we'll really see whether this altitude is bothering them more in the third and fourth quarters.
First free throw good for Jenna Johnson at the line, and behind her, you see number 1 in white, misses the second. Losing her footing was Davis, but USC comes up with it. Izzy Palmer has checked in, Maylana, and the senior has not played since the 3rd game at Baylor back in November. They are glad to have her back, and now matched up with Watkins. And they're going to call a hand check on Izzy Palmer, but she's part of the depth that Utah's been missing.
Well, she was their starting point guard at the beginning of the year, and having her back in this lineup, if you're a Utes fan, just means everything. You know, coming in, trying to make impact, making something happen right away. They did whistle her for the foul, but almost drew the charge.
They're thrilled to have her back, sustained an injury in that game, and just have not been able to get her cleared. But Watkins using the screen, smooth, and the finish.
You talked about how well she shoots. That doesn't happen by accident. She shoots thousands of shots day after day, and you can see it in how it just is automatic. She recognizes the defense, going under the screens, gets that screen by Rhea Marshall, knows it, shoots it quick release, knocks it down.
We talked to Coach Roberts. She said, you know, you're not going to completely stop a player like her, just like you're not going to completely stop an Alyssa Peely, but they'll change some things up. You don't want her to get comfortable. Try to make it as difficult as you can for her. As the Utes working it around, Wilkie, short, batting around, extra effort. That's Lonnie White who's checked in that kept it alive, and Peely makes him pay.
Utah it's been a team effort on those offensive rebounds. They're tipping it to each other, and they're just doing everything they can to keep the ball alive. They do have someone in safety, but the rest of the 4 players are crashing those offensive rebounds.
Yeah, Lonnie White on the weak side board was right there to bat it around as the drive by Big B. She cleans it up herself, and she gets fouled. It's a physical outing so far.
You see just Johnson flying in there, getting that second chance, gets it to her post partner inside. Alyssa Peely able to knock down that 2 in the paint.
4 offensive rebounds for Utah, 3 for USC. Both teams have come in with an aggressive mindset in this one.
Well, and Taylor Bigby adopting that same mindset on the other end. Misses the shot, gets her own rebound, but gets to the free throw line.
Redshirt sophomore from Las Vegas, transferred a couple of seasons ago from Oregon. 57% free thrower though, and misses that first one, but gets the second. Her 8th start on the season also for Taylor Bigby. Utah hanging on to the 5-point lead. Quick crossover by Palmer. She lays it up good. Izzy Palmer in her first 3 games of the season averaging 14 points a game. And she was shooting 56% behind the arc. They were missing that kind of play.
Well, and she just brings something different than Ines Vieta. She's got a little bit more size, and she can make plays like the one you just saw where she finishes with contact from a defender.
Under a minute left in the first quarter as Johnson, instead of the 3, decides to take it in a little bit closer.
You see Palmer with the quick crossover, but her size against a little bit smaller Padilla uses that length to get just underneath the arm and able to finish it.
Foul call against Watkins. That is her first.
Jenna Johnson, I can't say enough about how crafty and smart she plays in the post. She's not the tallest, but you saw on that play, she makes fantastic use of her pump fakes, her step throughs. She's able to draw the foul and then get to the free throw line and knock down her free throws.
Yeah, she definitely plays bigger than they list her at 6'2". It's the first free throw. Reese Ross comes back in for the Utes, gets them both. She's got 2 personal fouls. Ross does, but she'll come back in. About a 9-second differential shot clock, game clock here in this first quarter. It's been scrappy and fast. Watkins behind the back, pretty. But almost fades just a little bit. She's such a strong guard with the ball.
Well, and she just has the ability to block out the defender. She has defenders right there in her face that just focuses in on the basket.
Palmer tries to get squared back up again. Tipped out of play. It's going to stay with Utah. 3.5 left in this first quarter. Utah trying to take care of home court. As after this weekend, UCLA on Monday, they will hit the road for the next 4 in a row. Wilkie, got to get it off. Just does, but cannot do it. They'll wave off that last effort by Lonnie White. But a good first quarter in the books here in Salt Lake City, Utah, with a 7-point lead heading to the second. Important matchups across the Pac-12, but in particular in the Bay Area. You see Mike Krzyzewski, he's the all-time winningest with 1,202 wins. Right behind him, Maylana. Stanford head coach Tara Vanderveer at 1,201. They play Oregon tonight. Gino Auriemma not too far behind. They'll play tomorrow with 1,195. And just incredible numbers, incredible careers for these coaches. As you see, some of the numbers for Tara Vanderveer, 3 national championships, but she's been a national coach, an Olympic coach. Just incredible what she's done.
Yeah, I've been watching her since I was in junior high. I went to the Stanford basketball camp when I was in the 8th grade. Got MVP, by the way.
Okay, all right.
Humble brag, but no, Tara has been just an amazing, person to just follow in this league. She's been an ambassador for the Pac-12. She's always one that will help other coaches, which is unique in this game. She really wants to see everybody do well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And she's constantly learning and continuing to want to learn about this game and how it's changing, and across the board at the professional level and all areas as the second quarter gets going. And it's a foul call on USC, second on Watkins.
Yeah, it's just the refs have been honing in. It's a point of emphasis this year on those moving screens. So you can't do the flyby. You can't kind of tip someone as you're going by. You have to be stopped. They have to be able to avoid you if they want, and then that's how you avoid the foul.
And it was Okunwafu not quite getting there in time. 9 points for Peely. The assist to Vieira. She is 8th in the nation with 109 assists. Because Deja Young goes flying, but the shot is good. Yeah, that was a nice look from Kenzie Forbes.
That was really Deja Young's only option, was to fall backwards out of bounds, or else she probably would have picked up the foul.
Young got the start again without Weekends, and now Peely this time down low, so out up top for the 3, and now inside as well.
That Vieira to Peely connection is very strong tonight, making it look easy with that little left-handed bounce pass.
Watkins stays on for USC with the 2 personals. And needing some help is Forbes. Looking for a foul call, doesn't get it. Colo driving the baseline. That's a plus.
It's important for USC to get buckets like that from people other than Juju Watkins.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicolo, the grad transfer from TCU out of Quebec, Canada.
Let's take a look again at that connection. This is what makes Alyssa Peely so dangerous. She can shoot the 3 on one possession, and then on the next possession can grab a nice little bounce pass and finish in the paint.
Foul call on Lonnie White, her second. Yeah, the versatility, she uses her body so well, and just great hands, left or right. High screen for Watkins, has a beautiful look, can't get it. Rebound to Johnson. It's a good screen from Marshall.
They've been successful with that play a lot this year, that pick and roll.
Double team coming over on Peely, she gives it up. White. Her 3, just off. Oh, and the rebound and a foul call. Makolo with the board, and it's the first personal on Deja Young.
I think if you're the Utah staff, you'll take that. You want them crashing the boards hard. Makolo making her work for that defensive rebound. Deja Young just trying to get a hand on it. Just too much contact.
Watkins with 2 personals. Ross and White for Utah with 2 apiece. And a bit of a size differential there with Vieira and Forbes. Watkins tries to bank it, Fader. Can't get it. Vieira able to round that one up. White, open, wing, off the back of the iron. And the rebound down to USC. USC giving up some things, willing to give up an open look to Lonnie White to be able to double team and help with Peely.
Well, and Lonnie White, she can shoot that three, but she is a little bit streaky. So if you're USC, that's how you play the scout. Make her hit one before you really focus on her and kind of chase her off that three-point line.
Watkins, another bucket. Freshman out of Los Angeles. Gatorade National Player of the Year coming in this season. Pieta, ball fake. Oh, that was a break for USC. That could have been a reach-in foul on Watkins. It would have been her third.
Very close, and USC needs her, especially for plays like that. Great defense again by Deja Young. Has a hand in her face, but just uses that pick and roll. Rhea Marshall rolling to the basket, just takes the defense's attention just enough for Juju to get that shot off.
Well, Lindsay Gottlieb said, though, she's such a super competitor. And you gotta love the way she plays. She's not really a smack talker. She just goes out and plays hard. And Help D with the takeaway. That was Nicolo coming over. And the defense getting back on Watkins. Padilla back in. Baseline jumper short for Nicolo. Queen will bring it up. Johnson on the low block. Out to Young. Sticks it. Defense not getting out on Deja Young, and she makes him pay.
Well, and you're seeing something right now. There hasn't been a dead ball in quite a few trips up and down the floor, and USC looking a little tired right now.
Oh, beautiful drive, though, from Kayla Padilla. She gets away from her defender. And you know, when you've played this game, and you've played in a lot of different venues, it is a factor in your elevation.
At some point, you're like, just someone foul someone.
This time, Healy, she gets another. Fifth three of this first half for Utah. Their largest lead of the ball game, up by 10.
Wise timeout by Lindsay Gottlieb after the three by Alyssa Peel.
New addition to the coaching staff this year for this Utah Utes team. Former player here at Utah, Jeff Judkins. Also an assistant coach for 10 seasons on the men's side with Rick Majerus, and longtime coach at BYU on the women's side, 21 seasons as their head coach. And part of the reason you see some of these banners hanging here inside the Huntsman, but what a plus for Lynn Roberts to be able to get someone like Jeff Judkins to come in and really bring his experience, and also just not feel pressured by having someone like him on the sideline with her.
Exactly. I think that she's able to use his wealth of knowledge. He, kind of brings a different perspective when it comes to game planning. I think it's just nice to have someone that respected, in addition to the other fantastic assistant coaches that she already has on staff, to be able to game plan and really help out this Utah women's program.
Yeah, big plus. In addition for her, Lindsay Gottlieb did a very similar thing by adding Beth Burns to her staff. She said, I can't say enough about what she's meant to this program to bring her in. Longtime head coach as well, and now an assistant coach, just bringing that experience. Big plus. There is Beth Burns right there on the sideline for USC. Associate head coach, but she was at Louisville kind of doing the same thing, but an associate head at USC, but at San Diego State for a long time as well.
Yeah, she's been a head coach. She knows what it takes, and I think it's a great thing to have someone that has been there, knows what it's like to be a head coach, but someone you can lean on as a current head coach like Lindsay Gottlieb or like Lynn Roberts.
A whistle prior to that one was the third personal on Reese Ross for Utah, but an offensive foul call against USC on Bigby. And that is her first.
It's got to be a lot of contact to send Peely flying over into the Utah bench.
Milan, there's going to be a lot of bruises after this game. I can already tell. This one's already gotten very physical out there. I love it, though. So competitive. Hand check on USC.
Let's take a look at that offensive foul. Again, it's on the screen, just sticking that leg and that hip out. Catches Peely trying to get over the top and takes her legs out from under her.
Foul called against Samuels, her second. And beautiful takeaway. The help D by Davis, and then right back by McQueen as Peely trippers that one over the rim.
Just a roller coaster of emotions on that play for USC.
Yeah, you think you've got the steal and possibly a fast break, and wow, collision inside. Davis and Johnson. And I think they're going to call it on Jenna Johnson and Lynn Roberts in this crowd in disbelief.
Yeah, it's not intentional, but that is a foul. Jenna Johnson kind of losing her balance and falling underneath Caitlin Davis. Very dangerous play. I'm glad both players are up and don't seem to be fazed by it, but it was definitely scary for both sides.
And remember, they have eliminated that lower defensive block this year on the women's side, that arc area. So it isn't about that. It's really, as you said, it's about how she approached it and where she was. And trying to skip it out to Young, too much on it, and that is the 6th turn for Utah.
Utah needs to just settle down. Everyone's playing with a lot of emotion, a lot of energy, but they need to settle down, get a stop, get a solid block out, and stop turning the ball over on offense.
They haven't given up a lot off of turnovers, though, just 2 points. They've taken 13 turns over the 7 that they have forced. Crowd wanted to carry, no whistle. Padilla, guarded by Vieta, needs some help. Shot clock down to 5. Forbes has to shoot it, gets it off, bounces around, long rebound. Padilla there, another chance. Watkins is back in for USC, and an air ball is sent it the other way.
USC just a little off, just kilter on those offensive possessions. Can't get a clean look, not able to kind of shake loose those Utah defenders, forcing them into tough shots.
Bailey guarded by Davis, skip over to Vieta, way too much on that one.
So far, USC being very calculated with who they double from, and the gambling is paying off.
Some contact, no whistle, letting them play. Skip down to Bigby, swish. Taylor Bigby getting involved. Her first field goal of the ball game. She's got 4 points, and then a takeaway as Forbes tries to get another.
We talk a lot about Ines Vieta being just a menace defensively. Kayla Padilla has come up with a couple of huge turnovers.
She sure has. I like her game. Grad student out of Torrance, California, and some physical play inside. They're going to call it on Peely, a little too aggressive on the O-board.
Yeah, it looks like just a little push in the back. Nice box out by Caitlin Davis. Peely just kind of going for the rebound. And I think if you're Caitlin Davis, you probably sold the foul a little bit too, which was helpful.
And with 2:52 remaining in this second quarter, USC in the bonus, plus for them to be able to get themselves to the free throw line. And they did that so well against UCLA. They went there 32 times. As that one had too much on it for Davis, 60% free thrower.
This works in USC's favor for a couple of reasons. One, it allows them to score without the clock moving, but it also gives them some extra rest time in this first half.
Yeah, great point. As this pace has been fast, and again, at elevation, the first game, trying to get yourself going. Palmer back on, great to see her back out there. Drives it up, Padilla might have got a piece of it, and it's into the hands of Watkins. Banks it up good. Juju Watkins adds to her totals. She's got 12 points.
There is zero fear or hesitation in Juju Watkins. 1-on-2, she didn't care. She just split the defenders and went right up for the shot.
Donald's All-American, the MVP in that competition. Give and go, Wilkie finger roll.
The passing ability of Alyssa Peely is elite. She's found her teammate with a nice finish off the double team. I can't say enough for how important she is to this offense.
And back at you, Forbes connects behind the arc.
USC is really going to need the offense of Mackenzie Forbes in this game. Juju Watkins cannot carry it all, and Mackenzie Forbes has been the one to really step up when they need that second option.
Yeah, she has 5 points. She averages 13 per game. Is that one way off for McQueen, but Wilkie not getting up on the play. Gives it up to Peely. No whistle, they play on. And this crowd wanting the whistle. Instead, a shot from USC. to Palmer. It'll go to Utah.
Alyssa Peely just jumping into the defense of USC. I can see why the crowd maybe wanted that foul, but it's really Alyssa Peely who was initiating that contact, so kind of a good no call by the referees.
USC leads the conference in blocks per game at 6. They're 7th in the nation, and they have been on with 4 of them in this as a reach-in foul called on Forbes. That's her first. Hey, coming up at halftime, we're going to bring you our halftime report presented by Walt Disney World Resort, along with first half highlights, stats analysis, and much, much more. So many big games across the board. UCLA and USC, or Colorado rather, excuse me, in the 4th quarter right now in Boulder. Several games after our game tonight. A lot of fun matchups. Palmer using a high screen, gives it up. Here's Wilkie, left side, sticks it.
USC coaching staff trying to settle down the players. This energy in this gym is a good one if you use it right, but if you start complaining with the refs, that's not necessarily productive.
Peely gets fouled on the rebound, and now Utah is in the bonus.
Foul called on number 13, Rhea Marshall.
This 3 was huge by Utah. Again, Izzy Palmer making her presence felt, getting to the paint, kicking it out. And Maddie Wilkie just nails, knocking down that 3-point.
8 points for Wilkie to a 5 behind the arc. It's been nice for them to have the sophomore starting to find her role and what she's supposed to do here with this team. Again, no Gianna Neekins. They lose her to the season. They haven't had Izzy Palmer. Others have had to really elevate their role. Deja Young in particular becoming a starter. And then Wilkie getting more and more minutes.
It really is impressive, the level that Utah has still been able to play with without having Izzy Palmer and Gianna Neepkins not in the lineup. They provide so much of their offensive production, but other people doing a great job stepping up. So it's just been really impressive that they're still ranked 20 and competing in all these games.
Rare misses from the free throw line for Alyssa Peely. And a good box out and another chance. About a 5-second differential shot clock, game clock before halftime. Good spacing by the Utes. Kayla Williams has checked in 4 in black for USC. As the long 3 won't go for Peely. And a chance for USC to cut into this deficit. They got it below double digits. Can they get some more? 3 ball around and out. Boy, that was a great look by Forbes. Palmer, midcourt, and just short. And first half is in the books here in Salt Lake City. Physical, scrappy, fun, and fast.
Exciting. These fans are getting their money's worth.
Well, they certainly are. They've let them play. We've had a few whistles, but for the most part, I think it's been what you would expect. So some areas of focus, trying to make it difficult for Alyssa Peely and Maylana.
Well, and I think she kind of falls into all 3 of those buckets, right? She's hits the 3-pointer, she is deadly in transition, but she also is really great inside. So, you know, she is a tall order defensively if you're USC, and it's just getting a hand up on her shot, not letting her get anything easy, but the other part is they've been doubling on her, and she's been able to put her elite passing skills to work, finding open players, and they've been knocking down the 3-ball. So we'll see if USC can make that adjustment of getting them out of their comfort zone on the 3-point line and make it just a little bit more difficult.
You know, Coach Gottlieb, when we talked with her today at shoot-around, she said, look, Utah is so good offensively. She said, we're going to have to try to disrupt as best we can defensively. And right now, giving up 6 threes in that first half, she knew they were going to give up a 3 here or there. And it's that tough balance between what can you do against Alyssa Peely. As you said, she's so good inside, outside. We'll see if they can bring a little more intensity defensively here. 3rd quarter underway. High-low this time. McQueen on the backside.
They love that play coming out of halftime. That lob to McQueen is a go-to play for them, and I haven't seen them miss yet this year.
And I don't know if we saw it, but back at you says Juju Watkins. I love that beautiful shot.
She just uses her screen so extremely well. She comes off tight, so her defense can't squeeze through with her.
Bats that one away from Young. Utah gets it back. You know that Watkins is going to do what Watkins does, but she's got to have some others to go along with her. Marshall's been playing solid D, maybe got a piece of that one right there, and she comes down awkwardly. Kind of holding the right shin.
It looks like just, see how she comes so tight off of that screen, just rubbing Deja Young off, and that's what allows her to get that separation and allows her to get that open shot.
The foul call goes against Vieta. And Rhea Marshall still kind of wincing a little bit at the other end. Marshall averages 13 points a game. She's only taken one shot. Again, missing the last game. She was out with illness. You don't know if that's played a factor or not, but they could use more from Marshall. She and Forbes averaging 13 apiece, but Watkins doing all she can.
She finally gets that three to go. 0 for 5 in the first half, but able to knock down that three in the beginning of the third quarter. That bodes well for USC.
Yeah, it sure does. That's got to feel good. As McQueen trying to wrap around, they'll say off of USC. It stays with Utah.
And again, just coming off of the on-ball screen, reads it extremely well. She went 0 for 5 in the first quarter, but that is a shot she usually makes.
Almost a 40% three-point shooter, so it's so odd to see her 0 for in the first half. As that one is kicked, stays with the Utes. McQueen just 2 points in this game, and they happened just moments ago to start this second half. She averages 10 per game. Guarded by Bigby. Vieta into Peely, help D. Watkins with the takeaway. Oh, an aggressive drive and a foul call. It was a good move by Kenzie Forbes.
Mackenzie Forbes does an excellent job of drawing the foul. She uses her body. We talk about how well Alyssa Peely uses her body. Kenzie Forbes does the same. She does a good job of leaning into the defense, establishing that connection, that contact, which allows her to get to the free throw.
First free throw good for Kenzie Forbes. 67% free thrower. Transfer from Harvard. McDonald's All-American. Working on her masters, over 1,000 career points. A nice pickup for USC.
I think all of these grad transfers have been a great, they're almost like pieces of a puzzle that Lindsay Gottlieb has been able to put together, and they all fit really nicely together.
Yeah, they certainly do. She's done an excellent job in her third season as the head coach. Peely somehow got away from Marshall, who was reaching up and out. Watkins, three, no good. Marshall trying to clean it up. And Johnson and Marshall a jump ball. It'll stay with USC. Good effort by Rhea Marshall.
Look at the footwork by Peely on this. Gets her on her back, fakes middle, and just that slight hang in the air allows her to avoid that block shot by Rhea Marshall.
She has so much versatility in her game and the ways that she can score. Kick out to Bigby, sticks it, Taylor Bigby, and the three balls right now for USC have gotten them right back in this game.
Bigby has done that a couple times today for USC. Early in the first quarter, she hit one in the corner, getting it to go at the beginning of the third. Let's see if she can keep it going.
Peely this time, pretty move to the left.
Her ability to finish with that left hand is key. I've seen a lot of post players, they're always strong going to their right, but over that right shoulder finishing with your left that's where they lack, but not Alyssa Peely. She does an excellent job, uses that offhand, knocks it down with their left.
20 points for Peely. Deja Young picked up by Marshall, says out to Johnson on the mark, but misses. But Vieta underneath. Another chance. Give her another one. The hustle by Ines Vieta. And a kick once again. As she was looking for Young in the lane.
I don't think you're going to beat Ines Vieta to a 50-50 ball. But check out that nice little bounce pass by McQueen inside to Feely again with that left-hand finish. So nice inside.
The junior from Portugal moving into the starting role without Izzy Palmer after game 3. Vieta, corner, grazes the iron, long rebound. Good hustle from Young. Can she save it? She does. Another chance. Haley on the spin. Bodies are flying.
I'm almost glad she didn't make that shot. I think the roof would have blown off the Huntsman Center.
And players still down for USC. Looks like Forbes slow to get up.
Oh, it looks like she might have hit her head underneath the scoreboard.
Yep. She went flying, and also to add more pain, she gets the personal. That's her second. Photographers down there. There was a stool. Glad to see her up and okay. Peely to the line. Second and third chances for Utah, giving them this opportunity. They're crashing the boards. They've done a nice job on the glass tonight.
I don't know if crashing the boards does justice to what what they just executed on that play. Deja Young flying out of bounds, saves it. Ines Vieta coming down, kicking it, finding an open Peely. They were flying everywhere.
11 offensive rebounds for Utah, 8 O boards for USC. McQueen trying to stick with Watkins, but can't. The elevation, the strength, and the length of Juju Watkins.
And again, good offense usually is going to beat good defense. That was good defense by McQueen, staying on that right hand. But again, the size, just something that guards can't handle with Juju Watkins.
Watkins with 19, the long 3 off the iron for Vieta. And a pass off the mark for USC. He's going to hand it back to the Utes. And the final in Boulder, a big road win for number 5 UCLA.
That's a huge road win for UCLA. Colorado, not just that it's a 5 beating a 3, but Colorado just so tough at home. They really defend that home court well. So that's a huge win for UCLA, bouncing back after losing to USC last weekend.
Yep, definitely so. Big plus for the Bruins. And you're right. The Buffs so tough on the home court. Utah working it in high to low. Jenna Johnson with the bucket.
That was textbook high-low passing. McQueen just putting it on the money, and Johnson just holding that seal long enough so that the ball can get in there. Easy layup.
8 points for Johnson and a takeaway by the Utah defense. Vieta on the left side, just missing the layup, and Watkins wanted a foul call, didn't get it. She's going to bring it back the other way and stick it. That's how you make up for a whistle not maybe going the way you wanted it. She just gets the ball and goes the other direction.
Well, you got to respect the maturity and poise by the freshman. Yep. Not getting too low about turning it over, giving up a transition bucket. Just takes it, goes the other way, and gets one of her own.
Peely knocks that one down. 24 for Alyssa Peely. I'm with you on that for Juju Watkins. You know, she kind of looked at the official like, really, no whistle. But that was it. That was the only thing that she kind of said, and then just went back to work. Loses it there. Miscue with Akinwafo and McQueen with the layup.
She really doesn't get rattled, doesn't throw her hands in the air, just learn from it, make an adjustment, and try to get next possession. I think that's the mentality that she has to have.
That one will go for Forbes. And bodies collide down low, and Holding the left leg is Jenna Johnson. Hate to see this. Utah's defense creating so much offense. They've extended the lead back out. Back in Salt Lake City, 3:50 remaining in the third quarter. Bit of a collision prior to the timeout. Jenna Johnson went down, and originally, Maylana, we thought it was because of the collision, but actually you could see there late reaction because of a leg cramp. Thankfully, a leg cramp.
Yeah, thankfully. They were able to stretch her out, walked her back over to the bench. She was smiling, so that's all a good sign.
Big plus. There are the Pac-12 net rankings. We've been talking about those. Stanford at 3, Utah 6, 7 for UCLA. They get this win on the road. That number's going to probably change for them. There's USC and Colorado, Washington State, Oregon State, and Washington with a 39. They've had an incredible year. Arizona, Cal at 54. Pretty impressive.
Well, and this was a big emphasis for just the conference in general a few years ago, is make sure you schedule correctly for your level of play. And they did a great job of, so when they face each other in conference and they start beating each other up, it doesn't affect their net ranking as much.
Yep, certainly so. Wilkie back on. Wilkie connects. Maddie Wilkie continuing to do some damage. We saw her in the first half.
She is going to be a great player going on for them in the future, able to hit just well-defended threes. There was a defense coming out at her, and she just knocked it down.
Yeah, incredibly confident is Wilkie. Reese Ross with the rebound, and a touch foul. The hand check call on Malia Samuels. That's her third.
Take a look at Wilkie, just that elevator screen. The defense, Bigby, able to kind of get through it, but Wilkie has enough room to let that fly and knock it down.
Wilkie, a new addition this year to this team out of Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, the transfer from Wisconsin. 29 starts last year, averaged 12 points a game, had double figures 18 times. I believe it. She's a confident scorer. Ross, the lone freshman on this Utah team, as McQueen got tripped up. No whistle, they play on.
Crowd letting them have it. There's a lot of contact on that play. Crowd wanted a foul.
Padilla, quick passing. They work it around. Dominique Darius has checked in, 21 in black. We haven't seen her this game. Oh, and the extra effort there from Waffo. Waffo with the bucket.
Waffo has been really working hard on the offensive glass, just trying to make her impact, and it was nice to see her get one to fall.
Breaks the 7-0 Utah run. Yeah, they needed that. Ball fake from Peely, takes it in, gets the shooter's touch.
She's such a tough defensive assignment. I know she can shoot the three, so you want to come as a defender. It lulls you out there to want to block her shot, but she's so quick off the dribble, and you see why she's able to get around Waffle for the layup.
Utah back up to their largest lead, up by 12. 26 points now for Peely as Watkins loses it. Vieta. By Darius, but Darius making sure no easy layup for Vieta.
You see Juju just kind of loses it. Peely knows how quick her point guard is, throws it out there to her, and Darius just coming down with the hard foul. Nothing easy in transition.
7th game of the season for Dominique Darius. Transferred from UCLA a season ago. A redshirt sophomore out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Now going to the line.
So Vieto go to the stripe. She's got 2 points. She's been a bit off with her shot 0 for 4 behind the arc, but 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and now add a free throw to the line.
Well, these defenders for USC, they're long, they're athletic. They can stay not quite in front of Vieta, because I don't know if that's possible, but they do a good job of, I think their length is bothering her a little bit on her finishes when they're able to stay with her.
Queen takes a seat. White is back on for the Utes. And now the largest lead for Utah, now 14. USC needs a bucket. Watkins, now the switch. It's White on her. She and Wilkie. Darius kicks it out. Watkins way outside. Short. Oh, and they'll stay inside, as they'll say. It was Davis with position in the interior. She and Johnson got tangled up.
This happened earlier in the first half. Same thing. Jenna Johnson just really committing to that box out, but when the offensive player, when the opponent jumps up in the air, you can't keep going up underneath them. You're going to get called for the foul because it is a very dangerous situation to put the other player in.
And that's the third personal on Jenna Johnson. She and Ross for the Utes with 3 apiece. Darius, ball fake outside, drives it up, can't get it. Rebound tipped out to Vieta. And Utah continuing to try to push this pace. Wilkie around and out. Wilkie with 11 points off the bench.
I really like the effort and energy that Caitlin Davis is giving right now on both ends. Offensively, defensively, she's a monster on the boards.
And a tough break there for USC. Offensive foul call on Forbes. That's her third.
Both teams struggling with this offensive foul off of these dribble handoffs and pick and rolls, and definitely she gets that elbow into the neck of the Utah player. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, but that's definitely a foul.
Izzy Palmer back in. Again, first game back since back in mid-November. Picks up her dribble, and a timeout needed as Lynn Roberts trying to bail out her team. So the timeout called for Utah. Under a minute left here in the third quarter. We got a good one. Don't go anywhere.
Just been automatic today, and that's her. She's using every bit of that 6'2" frame to rise up over the defender and knock down that shot.
Yeah, that's the thing about Juju Watkins, is that she can make tough shots, but doing the best that they can, but really kind of holding others down as well. But 21 points for her. 21 points this quarter for Utah, and for USC 16. It's been a close third with under a minute left. Peely up top, she wants it. Just turned around and shook her head. She knew that was going in.
Well, she just got caught up for a split second on that down screen. Had to go around the defender that gave Alyssa Peely just enough time to knock down that three.
She's a 43% three-point shooter, 4th in the conference tonight. 3 for 4 behind the arc. 29 points for Peely. That went off the mark. And it's a 7-0 run for Utah. Palmer has it knocked out of play. She was trying to draw the foul, but instead it stays with Utah. 0.3 on this clock. It's the old 0.3 play, Maylana. It's one of my favorites.
Just enough time for a tip.
Oh, wow. I mean, Peely's strong, but that's quite a tip out behind the three-point line. She almost got it there, and that's going to do it for the third quarter of play.
Check out that three as we go to break. Just knocking it down. Utah up on USC.
Getting ready for the start of the fourth quarter here in Salt Lake City. Alyssa Peely leads all scorers. She's got 29 points. She's doing a little bit of everything. She's getting scoring, though, from a lot of different areas, Maylana.
She is, but that's where her versatility comes into play. And she's really just adjusting to the different defensive sets that she's seen from USC. If she's coming off the pick and roll, if they sag, she pops out. They're running her off of some down screens. They're finding her on the low block, ISOing her against those posts from USC, and she's just able to score no matter what offensive position they're putting her in.
See which team can win this fourth quarter. As USC coming in off that big win against UCLA. That one from Ross, no good. She had Davis coming out at her.
Davis got up. If she had made contact, I think it would have landed in her laps.
Yeah, I think you're right. What a win for USC at home against the number 2 team at the time in the nation, UCLA Bruins. A standing room only crowd of over 10,600 at the Galen Center. Shot clock down to 3, and it's Marshall with the push-off on White.
This was just crafty defense by Lonnie White. She knew that Rhea Marshall was going to dip that shoulder after that pump fake, just taking the contact and the charge.
Third personal on Rhea Marshall. She's yet to score in this game, averaging 13 a game. She's 0 for 3, 5 rebounds, and now her third personal. As Palmer loses it right back to USC. Darius, didn't see her in the first half, but now seeing her quite a bit. Skips it out to Padilla, who rattles it home.
Padilla has a knack for coming up with big threes like that possession. Just, you forget about her for a while, and she spots up over in the corner and knocks down a three and makes you pay.
Breaking the pressure, some full court pressure from USC. So mixing up the defense a bit on the Utes. Wilkie in. She's had a solid game off the bench, 11 points. Only averaging 6 a game on the season. Shot clock down to 5. Palmer recognizing, scoops it up, good. Izzy Palmer, 4 points for her.
If you're Utah, I think you've got to be really pleased with the minutes that Izzy Palmer has been able to put together in her first game back. Just coming out, not playing tentative at all, and staying aggressive, taking the ball to the basket, getting some points, and getting some nice assists.
Senior out of Newcastle, Australia. Coach Roberts said she'll probably have some limited minutes for now. As the defense getting back, they thought they knocked it off of her. Instead, it stays with Utah.
Izzy Palmer just showing how she will, if you don't step up and get in front of her, she will just keep taking it all to the basket, and that's what she does on that play. She puts her head down, she gets nice and low, and just uses that length to finish right at the rim.
Averaged 14 a game before going out at Baylor. And a much-needed addition to add some scoring depth for this Utah team. She takes a seat. Deja Young back on. Trying to bounce it into Peely, and instead the defense there for USC. Akinwafo stepping up.
Darius has some really quick hands defensively. She was just able to read Ines Vietta's eyes on that play and get a hand on the pass.
Juju Watkins getting a rest right now. Padilla, short, tries to tip it, and it's into the hands of Kennedy McQueen.
Utah also doing a nice job of staying disciplined. They're taking open shots, but they're trying to get deep into the shot clock.
Blocking foul on USC.
Tries to draw the charge, just steps in front of Wilkie, and because they're moving, it gets called on the defense.
Blocking foul on Makolo. Her first. Peely, high archer, around and good. Alyssa Peely, another one.
That is a big-time three by Alyssa Peely. Clarice Akinwafo is 6'6" with a long wingspan coming out at her. Alyssa Peely doesn't bat an eye, just knocks it down right in her face.
32 for Peely. Testing the D of Akinwafo. Now Helpty coming over, and she recognizes it. Queen scoops it up. Body bump, though, from Darius.
Alyssa Peely just showing her range and showing her focus. Akinwafo not too far off defensively, using that length, but it doesn't matter. Alyssa Peely just said, that's too much room.
And Kennedy McQueen is at the line.
Foul on Darius, her second. McQueen will go to the stripe. Utah extending their lead. And the first free throw good for McQueen, the 70% free thrower. Watkins is going to check back in. The next opportunity. She's got 21 points. And everybody else, 26 total. Just haven't had quite enough to go with her tonight. Their other double-digit scorers have just not been able to help her out.
The other thing that stands out to me is USC has 5 assists on 19 shots, whereas on Utah it's 18 assists on 24 shots. And I think that's the difference in this game. USC has to fight and claw for every single open shot that they're making, whereas Utah's just passing the ball around, making the defense work, and shooting wide open spot-up shots.
Yeah, I like that point. And that's a number, that assist number, that extra pass is such a big emphasis for this Utah offense and what they do. Bodies collide, and it ends up in the hands of the Utes.
And here's another time where the 50-50 ball is so important.
Bodies diving, and that one really created by Caitlin Davis. Not sure what they called here at the last second. Peely was going in, maybe the kick, because she used her feet there, but
I think that's what the call was.
Wow.
She kind of scoops it in with her heels, and that's not allowed.
it's a good hustle from Caitlin Davis going after that one to create this opportunity.
I think even the pace on Alyssa Peely getting that 50-50 ball, she just wants to click as much time off this clock as possible.
Utes with their largest lead of the game and an opportunity to add to it. The Queen just off. Long rebound. Wilkie had it momentarily, and it'll go the other direction.
Out of bounds. Trojans ball.
Just Juju Watkins fighting for it. Wilkie almost came up with the offensive rebound.
That's a heady play by Watkins, as I think she knocked it off the foot of Wilkie. Good recognition where she was.
She's pretty crafty, that freshman.
She really is. There's a reason so many people talk about her, I guess. Foul on the sideline. Just the first team foul on Utah. With 5 minutes remaining in the game. Utah trying to get to even 500 in conference play. Tough start for them. Their first 3 games on the road, they were 1-2. Coming back home, the loss to Stanford. Now at 2-3.
Again, we were talking earlier, it's about who you are matched up against.
Yeah.
That really made the difference in this first part of the conference play.
Foul call. We'll take the timeout. 4:48 remaining here in Salt Lake City.
Timeout on the floor. Timeout call. Music.
Time now for our Liberty Mutual most needed play. Alyssa Peely doing everything.
I think we need to change this to the most needed player. Alyssa Peely just showing why she's one of the best in the country at what she does. Knocking down the three, showing that fancy footwork in the post, showing how great her hands are and her ability to catch. I think she hit that one from Alaska.
I think you're right. No doubt. She's got some range, so much strength. Her numbers right now, 32 points in 30 minutes, 4 threes, 6 boards. She's become such a crowd favorite here in Salt Lake City.
Well, and they really needed her to come in and show up offensively. It wasn't an easy thing for her to do. She's playing against Rhea Marshall, who's a great shot blocker. Clarice Akunwafo, again, who's a very tough assignment offensively and to go against because she's so long. But Alyssa Peely just shows time and time again why she is just so difficult to guard, and it's all because of her versatility.
1 for 2 from the line for Watkins, 83% free thrower, and now full court pressure from the Trojans.
Just trying to get this game back within reach. Maybe hoping that Utah will turn it over and they'll get an easy bucket in transition off of the press.
Wilkie stays on for the Utes. Really solid game. Young off the iron. McQueen tracks it down.
Again, those offensive rebounds by Utah are just killers for USC.
13 in this one. Foul, the offensive foul called on Utah.
Really looked at the ref like, really? And Lisa Jones just shook her head like, you know you fouled her. You threw that girl to the ground.
Second personal on Peely. All by herself. Davis rattles that one in. And Davis with the bucket.
I love the grit that Caitlin Davis has shown here tonight. Just had the tough defensive assignment of guarding Peely all night. And she's hit the ground several times, been undercut by Jenna Johnson a couple times, and she just keeps coming back and giving it her all. I love it.
Her first points of the game, but 6 rebounds. You're right. She's had some hustle plays and almost a takeaway there. Shot clock to 5 for Utah. McQueen recognizing, drives it up, scoops it off too much. And nobody's stopping the ball, and Forbes recognizing, she attacks. USC's not going to give up on this one just yet.
No, you'd like to see Deja Young just stay a little bit more disciplined with her hands up. That was going to be a really tough finish by Mackenzie Forbes. But credit Forbes for staying aggressive, attacking Peely, and Deja Young earning herself a trip to the line.
First free throw off the mark for Forbes, a 67% free throw. The transfer from Harvard this year. She was at Cal earlier in her career. Played for Lindsay Gottlieb as a freshman when Lindsay was the head coach there. As the officials are going to come together and talk things over. And make a change to that one. Our crew tonight, Tiffany Bird, Lisa Jones, and Kenneth Nash. Our trio on the court.
I think they're saying Deja Young just tipped it, maybe falling out of bounds.
Yep, and rookie anticipation, almost a steal there.
She had come up with it, I probably would have had to go back to the AAU and say, ball don't lie.
That's right.
But she didn't, so we'll go with what the ref said.
Just over 3 minutes left in the game. Foul call on McQueen. That's the 15th foul. And that'll put USC to the line, so a plus for the Trojans with 3:08 remaining. Clock has not moved much the last several seconds.
Lots of fouls. I think the crowd here is respectfully disagreeing with that call, but I think what she got whistled for was she's just trying to create space coming off of that screen, and she used that arm bar and got whistled for the foul with the elbow.
USC coming in a 72% free throw shooting team. They have struggled from the line, though. 5 of 12 tonight from the stripe for the Trojans. And Utah, a bit of a scoring drought the last 3.5. They have not scored. They could use one here. Hanging on, though, to this 17-point lead. Help D coming over for Peely.
Even though they may not be, their shots may not be falling, all of these offensive possessions by Utah are playing right into their game plan. They've got the lead. They're going deep into their shot clock. They're taking off almost 30 seconds every offensive possession. And some of them, they're getting to the free throw line and earning, opportunities that way. But I don't think that the coaching staff for Utah is upset with the missed shots. It's not as big of a deal because they have that sizable lead.
Peely, 33 points, 5 of 7 from the stripe. Gonna try to add to it here. And she does.
I'm wondering when they'll look to maybe make some subs for this Utah squad, knowing that they've got UCLA coming in here just in a couple days.
Yep, UCLA will be here Monday. That'll be on ESPN. That's going to be a fun one. And a blocking foul call.
Number 12, Juju Watkins. That's number 3 on Watkins.
Third personal on Watkins will put Utah to the line now.
Ines Vieta, we talk all the time about how quick she is, but she's just so difficult to stay in front of. So if you're going to try to press this Utah team, your first step can't be sideways. It has to be backwards and then sideways. You have to give her that cushion because she's just so quick off the dribble.
Lindsey Gottlieb and her team will head to Boulder to face the Colorado Buffaloes, who will be coming off that loss against UCLA. That is going to be a tough trip for these Trojans.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to face an angry Buffalo.
Right? Foul on Young. That'll be her third.
I think that's the other part. We talked about the altitude, the fact that both of these teams are usually ranked in the top 25, but the other part is UCLA and USC, or even Stanford, Cal, like, you have your travel partner, they might kind of shake the bee's nest with the team that you're about to play by upsetting them. So you're now going to face, an even more determined squad than you already were when you make that trip from Utah to Colorado or vice versa.
Yep, definitely so. And the defense, full court pressure and a takeaway by the Trojans. Can they get something out of it? Kayla Williams back in, and she loses it to McQueen. Trying to trap with 2 minutes left. Peely by herself. Slithers that one over the rim.
I have to point out the pass by Deja Young that made that happen. Both players, McQueen, Young, getting trapped, but Young able to split the defense and find an open Peely, but USC answering with a three of their own.
Finally, Forbes into double digits. She has 11. That three for Peely gives her 37. That ties her career high. Vieta lost her footing and can't get the shot to go.
See this wraparound pass by Deja Young, finding an open Peely. I don't know why Peely's wide open out there on the three, but she makes USC pay.
Alyssa Peely tying her career high 37 and getting some love from the crowd and her teammates. Juju Watkins finishes with 26 points. And they'll have to try to bounce back in Boulder on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Utes will await the Bruins for their game on Monday. Shot no good. Wilkie gets fouled. With just a minute left in the game, this crowd has been loud and into it. Yeah, this is a big one for Utah. Take care of business at home, so important in conference play.
It really is. We always talk about when you're in conference play, you want to win the games you're supposed to win at home, and you want to steal one on the road. Well, this was a very difficult and highly ranked USC team coming in here, so this was not a given win for Utah. They really needed to fight for it, and they took care of the first half of this really tough road trip with the LA schools.
Yep, certainly have. Wilkie to the line. She's been big off the bench. 12 points, trying to add to it. Can't get the second. And going for the board. Utah thought it was off USC. Instead, it'll go to the Trojans. So USC will get their second loss in conference play. They'll move to 3-2 overall. They were picked 6th in the preseason poll. Some close games across the board. Arizona's at Washington tonight. Oregon State at Cal. And collision inside. Deja Young to the floor.
Number 34, Clarice Akamwafo.
It's going to go against Akamwafo, though.
Yeah, Utah has really focused on holding their box outs, and on that play, just Akamwafo jumping and going over the back of Deja Young. It's gone the other way on a couple of other possessions earlier in the game, but on that play, just Okenwafu doing a little bit too much going over the back.
Deja Young to the line, can't get that one. 61% free thrower. She's had the task most of the night of guarding Juju Watkins.
That is a tough task. But again, I think you don't have to really hold Juju Watkins scoreless. You just want to make it tough and just keep the other USC Trojans from scoring, and that's what Utah did tonight.
McQueen, hand in the passing lane, defense to offense.
Heading play by McQueen, keeping the ball in front of her, avoids the tip by Roxanne McColo.
Shot just short for Williams. And the rebound down to Utah, and that will do it. Utah is going to move to 13-5 overall, 3-3 in conference play. Their second highest win in program history against this number 6 team. It was number 3 Stanford a season ago.
Utah celebrating. They really deserve this celebration. They put together a game plan. They executed. This was a huge team win for Utah against a very tough USC squad. So now it's on USC to regroup and get their game plan going as they face a really tough Colorado at the second half of this road trip.
Yep, no time to hang the head. You got another ranked team awaiting you, and that's sometimes, I think, a good thing to help you move on and regroup. Alyssa Peely ties her career high, 37 points, 5 of 6 for her behind the arc.
It really was just so much fun. She put on a clinic and really showcased all of her weapons, getting to the free throw line, knocking down that 3, and able to put the ball on the floor and get to the bucket. She just was a huge reason for this win tonight.
Getting some love from this crowd. They have hung around here inside the Huntsman Center on their feet, and they're going to